content of the video. Moin Moin and welcome. In this video you will learn how to install shopware without any prerequisites except for Windows. Of course you can install shopware on Linux, on OS X, or basically on any system that runs PHP in the database server. But a lot of people use Windows, so I'll show it on Windows. Personally, I use Linux, and we encourage you to develop on Linux. Usually when you use Linux, you already know how to install an Apache web server and a MySQL database, so I show it on Windows. First, you need a browser, and then you go to shopware.com, and basically, this should be this page you're looking at. If it's not and it's in German, then you switch language up here. Well, speaking of the corner here on the right, there is a download button. When you press it, you are on the shopware download page. There are multiple options to download shopware. For one, here's the free download. This just gives you a zip archive to install on your server. The one file installer is pretty much the same. It's an PHP file you put on your server, and then when you call the PHP file or open the PHP file in your browser, it downloads shopware. The GitHub link is nothing to download. It's just the sources on GitHub. And what we are interested in is here the local installer and the virtual machines. The virtual machines, of course, just run inside your VirtualBox or virtual machine provider, be it VirtualBox or VMware. But today we want to install it locally. So when you are here, you're basically going to Bitnami. You can see it in the lower left corner. It's a link to Bitnami. And Bitnami is something where you can download, bitnami.com, where you can download a lot of stuff. And shopware. Applications, you can visit it here, shopware. There we are. This is the whole Bitnami thing, which you can download from the shopware download site by clicking on your operating system name. In this example, it's Windows. As soon as the download finished, just open up your downloads folder or wherever you saved it and double click on the executable file you just downloaded, and you will have to do this as administrator. Okay. The Bitnami installer opens up, and it's basically a lot of clicking next, but I'll step through. Here is one option you can deselect if you want to. It's phpMyAdmin, which is an administration tool for your database. It doesn't take that much space, so I would recommend to install it. If you do not install it, you need another way to access your database, if you ever need to access your database, of course. So if you're not sure, just leave it like it is checked. Okay, then you have the folder, and since the web server needs to write into this folder, I would advise you to either use the default folder here or a folder inside your home directory, one of the both, okay? This is already shopware specific stuff. Your real name can be whatever you want. Then the email address should be either your real email address or just leave it as it is. The login will be the login we use on the backend later on. So I will set it to demo. Login and password must not be the same. Okay, then user demo. Why not? Next. Okay, then we get to the host configuration. This is the IP address that my virtual machine, because I'm showing it to you in a virtual machine, has at the moment. And you can leave it as it is in your installation, or if you want to fiddle with your hosts file, of course you can insert a domain here and then do the entry in your host file. Okay, then we have shop name, whatever you want, doesn't matter. And there you can configure SMTP settings. That is, if you want to send out real emails, you can go like, okay, I want to configure mail support, and I would want to do it either Gmail or custom. If you want to do this because you want to send out test emails and stuff, The configuration is pretty much straightforward. I can't show you really because you need the data you put in there from your mail provider. Okay, so I will check this. The next thing is you can deploy shopware to the cloud, to the Bitnami cloud. If you just want to develop shopware and want to dip into shopware development, you don't need this, okay? If you want to know what it is and what options are there, here is the Bitnami site I already showed you. There is a lot of information on it, but it's not the scope of this training. Next. Okay, we are ready to install. Let's do it. As soon as the installation finishes, which may take a little bit of time, depending on your system, we choose to launch the Bitnami shopware stack. What happens here is that there is a little tool in the background that manages the database server and the web server, Apache MySQL. Okay, so just click Finish, and the browser opens automatically. And here we have a one-time yes click that we need to do, and then the Bitnami shopware stack, Bitnami shopware stack starts. Okay, so in the background we already see there is a demo shop without any content. And here we have a lot of options, or a few options to be honest. We can open phpMyAdmin, which I talked about during the installation. And we can open the application folder. We can visit Bitnami and go to the application. And we have the managed server here. And this is the MySQL and the Apache web server I was talking about. And you can start and stop and restart them here and even configure them if you want to. It may happen that when you have Skype running, for example, that the port 80 and 443 are blocked and Apache needs these. So it is not only Skype, there may be other applications like virus scanners or security software, something like that, where you need to configure them to allow Apache to start. Okay, so in the case of Skype, which is a widely used program, you can go to the options and say don't use port 80 and 443. Okay, great, but now it's running. So there are some server events you can see here as well if there's something wrong. Okay, for example, something blocking the port 80. Great. Now we have the front end here from shopware, and then you can go the same IP backend. And there we are, the shopware backend. You can log in with demo and set the language to English, login. Oh, sorry, user demo, of course, because demo is not allowed by Bitnami. As soon as you are logged into the backend, you see the shopware first run wizard, where you can install different stuff like languages, for example. Although when you download from the English shopware page, it's already in English. Okay, good. Next step, and there are demo data packages, and these demo data packages fill your shop with obviously demo data. So when you plan on just developing a theme and you don't care about the content because the content could be anything because it's in the store in the end or something like that, then you want to install the demo data here. If not, and if you're getting data from like your customer or your client, then don't do it, because this will override the whole database and maybe you want to start fresh. Great. I don't want to start fresh, so I install the demo data international. Just click install and it will download the whole stuff. This again may take a little bit of time depending on your internet connection and your system. In my case, of course, it finishes immediately because of the magic of video editing. So let's go next. And there we have recommended plugins that we are not interested in that right now. You can look through the recommended plugins if you want to on your system. Okay, then there is some configuration going on. We already know this data here. Again, you can fill it in if you want to, but I won't go through this with you because yeah, it doesn't matter for the actual installation. Oh yeah, right. It's being installed. Of course, as well, this takes just a second. And then we can skip this step if we want to, but no. We want to save all settings. On the last page, there are a couple of documentation stuff and where you find your shopware account, stuff like this. It's interesting. The most interesting thing is the shopware documentation, but you will see later on the documentation and how you can navigate there. Okay, that's it for the installation. We finish up and the shopware backend loads with feedback. Something I don't want to have in my test installation. So let's reload the shop front end. And as you can see, now we have a little bit of demo data here and we are ready basically to create our template. As I said at the beginning, this is the most easy way to have a local installation of shopware if you don't have any web server or anything. Of course, when you have a web server locally already installed, you want to use your already installed web server, okay? And just to stress it out again, use Linux if it's available and if you can do it, because officially we are not supporting Windows, although most of the time it works, but there can be problems with paths being too long, for example. So Windows is fine as long as you don't run into any trouble, but keep in mind Linux or Mac, of course, Mac OS would be the system of choice for you, if you can manage to use it. Thanks for watching.